Is retail therapy really therapy?
Like even when I go to therapy, I always ask her, like, don't you get like bored?
What is styling? And why do people need stylists?
Me, if you ask me what styling is, I think it is just understanding who you are and kind of portraying that out there with what you wear. And I had that phase in my 20s where I would like actively like be on apps shopping all the time because I felt like I needed to have everything that was trendy. And I realized that like in my 30s now, I'm like, that is just not me.
Trends are such a big thing. Even bad clothes are trends.
I need to think of my client and what works for them. And like, if this is not going to work on them, I don't need to do it just because everyone else is doing it. It's called doom scrolling, right? Where you're just like constantly looking. And I feel like this is all because of Instagram.
So when I go for holidays, I still repeat my clothes. Like I overpack, but I'll still repeat my clothes.
Yeah.
I know that you worked with Veer Das.
I styled him for the Emmys.
Hello everyone, welcome to Decoding Quirks. I'm your host Aditi, and in today's episode we'll be talking to a really special guest who's going to answer a really deep question of, is retail therapy really therapy? She has styled Veer Das for the Emmys, he was one of the first Indians to host the Emmys. We're answering questions like, are trends really a trap? Sustainable fashion, is it good? Is it worth it? And how do you really feel when you actually dress up? So please welcome Shrija Rajgopal. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Novice.
Okay.
But good.
I think.
Also because I have a flight to catch, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're also keeping track of time
Yeah.
for that. So in case you hear any alarms or buzzers, it's that. Okay. So what I do want to get into. So going back, Shrija and me have recently come to know each other through like social activities and the gym and training and all of that. So what I do want to know, and something that we have spoken about, is what is styling and why do people need stylists?
So, okay, that is like there are multiple answers to this, but I think styling in general is just figuring out like what is an extension of yourself that is beyond clothes. Like, of course, it's dependent on clothes and like how you dress and how you accessorize your look, etc. But it's most importantly understanding who you are. And now this can be very deep because most people assume that stylists meaning they only deal with clothes and like really interesting brands and all of that. And of course that's a big part of it, but for me, if you ask me what styling is, I think it is just understanding who you are and kind of portraying that out there with what you wear and like how you carry yourself, etc. So it's a very broad term because like styling can be something to me, but when I'm styling a celebrity, for example, it could be a little different. But the crux of it is that it's understanding your personal sense of style, what you stand for, and how you can communicate that in with your clothes and kind of how you carry yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
also,
a little deep, but it's also very simple because at the end of the day, you just want to have fun with what you wear. But if you're someone who is very interested in dressing up and taking care of how you look, then those people will understand what I mean when I say that it's an extension of yourself.
yeah, but I think like even someone who doesn't like, I mean, I don't take that much effort to dress up.
Yeah.
But I do understand that I have like these certain things that I wear.
Quirks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when we just spoke about before the
Yeah.
podcast, I was like, I usually only wear like shirts and I usually
Yeah.
only wear collars.
Yeah.
Now, I think initially I started doing that from a fear aspect where I was like, oh, is my neck too big? Is it too bulky?
Yeah.
Do I need more space?
Right.
This makes me feel the most comfortable. And then I just started getting so used to it where I understood why it works for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes I'm
It
like,
felt like you.
yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is an extension where even
Yeah.
if it came from a place of fear, it's also something that I'm so comfortable wearing. I know how to style it.
Exactly.
Sometimes I button it up completely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I make it low. Sometimes
Yeah.
I make it like formal, casual.
Depending on how you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I understand that.
Yeah.
But also when you say it goes deep, it's like you have to understand who you are and what you stand for and what you
Yeah.
mean. So does this like, do people actually have to know themselves or do they get to know themselves through their dressing?
So I think, like, of course, you have to understand who you are in the sense, like, are you a person who takes effort to get dressed up and look good? Are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it because you're trying to, like, create this image which is actually not you, but you kind of want to be that person? or are you trying to impress someone, or there are many layers to it. So I think what comes to you naturally is what you truly are. So like, even for me as a stylist, I've had a phase where I used to dress up because I felt like I'm a stylist, I cannot look my best at every given point of time. And I had that phase in my 20s where I would like actively like be on apps shopping all the time because I felt like I needed to have everything that was trendy. And I realized that, like, in my 30s now, I'm like, that is just not me. Also, like, mindset changes and everything. But you get to a point where you're like, now I want to wear what I feel like wearing. Like, I wouldn't care too much about where I'm going, what the occasion is, and like who I am, and what the event is. But it's if I feel comfortable in it, I'm wearing it and I'm going. So I feel like that comes it comes with time, and it also comes with like you said, you had a phase where you didn't really care. And I know so many of my friends who don't really care about what they're wearing. They just have stuff in their wardrobe for years and they'll keep repeating that, which I think is also cool. But I think for people who are probably more out there, seen at a lot of places, like your work is a lot of in front of the camera, I guess those are the people who also really take the effort to like
Yeah.
put themselves together. But understanding yourself is just to, it's a simple way of saying that you'll obviously buy what comes to you naturally. Like you can relate to an outfit when you see it, and there might be some things that you hate and you'll never pick that, but then maybe someone picks that because they know it's like going to make them look a certain way, which could be like a sense of fear where they want to be that but they're not that, but they want to be it. And then that gets really complicated because it's also visible in how you conduct yourself, how you speak, and then you're not yourself. So that's why I feel like it's all
So
connected,
connected. Yeah,
it's
that's so
crazy.
true.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually have to decode it, I remember there was this phase where, I mean, this was much younger, but
Yeah.
low rise jeans was a
Oh my
thing.
god,
Like,
yeah.
what the
We've
hell?
all been there, right?
Yeah,
We've
but
all
like,
been there, worn that.
what
But I think it works. Like today, I would never wear it, although I think it looks hot on people.
some people.
Some people who can really pull it off. But I'm like, I used to have a phase where I would wear stuff showing my navel, and like I felt like that was a really cool thing to do. I would have like a belly piercing and a waist chain specifically so that I could wear low waist stuff. But now I'm like, that's not me, and that's fine because I'm done with that phase. Now
Yeah.
I'm all about like loose stuff and like high waisted pants. And so, but people like the Gen Zs are wearing it, and I think
It's
they're
coming
pulling it
back,
off.
no?
It's all coming back. It's all going to come back, and I love that because I feel like it's never really out of style until you accept it. Like everything is out there. It's all about like how you pick and choose and like mix things together. And you can have a little bit of 90s in you even now. You don't have to like completely discard it and like stay in trend, because that's also very boring. I feel like
But there are,
following
yeah,
trends.
that's true. Like, I
Yeah.
like what you said, that nothing is really out of trend. You just have to, like,
Yeah.
accept
Like
it.
I still have stuff from like when I was in like sixth, seventh grade. I still have a couple of my jewelry pieces, like the beads that we all
Yeah.
would wear in the Middle East. It was such a thing. I think world over, not just Middle East, but I still have that, and I wear it sometimes here and there because I feel like it's still kind of who I am, and I don't want to like discard it.
I love that.
Yeah. So everything's coming back.
Everything comes back.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. Like
Yeah.
bell bottoms or whatever, the
Love it.
wide. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was so many trends that we thought
So
were gonna just
many
go.
bags. Like if you see all of your mini bags today, it was all from the 80s and 90s. It's all, like right now that's what everyone's wearing and carrying around, right?
Yeah, but also, like, okay, let's come to this. Let's
Yeah.
come to what everyone is doing.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing? Why are, like, I mean, we call it trends right now. We see it
Yeah.
on TikTok, we see it on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Trends are such a big thing.
I
Even bad
I
clothes are trends.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. If it's about like anything going viral, I think, it's not necessarily clothes, but I feel like even if you find a new restaurant and everyone's talking about it, you want to go there. Even if the food's average, you still want to go try it because everyone's talking about it. It's the same with like clothes and accessories and shoes. Like if something is worn by 70% of the population, you know that there's something good about it. You may hate it. Like I've been one of those people where I bought something just because I know it's a cool thing to have. And so now I'm slowly kind of like trying to like, cut those layers of who I am, because I'm like, why? Why am I spending on things I don't even need just because everyone else is wearing it? So I call it the trend trap, where I feel like it's majority of us. It's also stylists where, like, if I'm putting a look together for somebody, it's very possible that I can get peer pressured by what everyone else is doing and what seems to be appreciated. But then I always come back to like, no, I need to think of my client and what works for them. And like, if this is not going to work on them, I don't need to do it just because everyone else is doing it. And, that shift takes some time because it's very easy. Like, like today, for example, I also think everyone's in front of the camera in terms of their job. Like, I'm a stylist, but I'm also doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like you could be a doctor, but you're also in front of the camera talking about tips and tricks and what you can do. And like, so I feel like that's also come from a point of like, this is what everybody is doing today and it works, and there's nothing bad about it. But I'm saying in terms of fashion, the trends are crazy, like to a
Yeah.
point where like it can affect your mental health. Like I had a point where I was just I would just sit and scroll every night on my phone. I'm on every shopping app because I just want to see what I don't have, and I'll put it in my cart. And the next morning I wake up and I'm this new person, but I'm like, no, I don't need it. Then again at night I go back to this random. It's called doom scrolling, right? Where you're just like constantly looking, and I feel like this is all because of Instagram. It's also because of ads like shoved into your face and like people around you. So when you're in fashion, you're also only talking about that with people in the industry. Your work is that. So it can get like a little too much after a point.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, overwhelming for sure. And then you feel like you're doing things that are not you and that are not required.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
right? Like, it's just like trends are okay. I understand. It's just part of life. It's like it works for brands, it works for like people who do advertising and marketing, and that's how they sell stuff. But it eventually comes down to like, do you really need it?
Yeah, do you
That's
really need
really
it?
it. Yeah.
So,
So,
even for me, I think like when you were saying this,
yeah.
there are certain qualities about me that I feel like just because I'm a mental health coach, just because I'm in the wellness field, I should be living life a certain way.
Way. Yeah.
I should not be drinking. I should not
Yeah,
be, I should be,
how do you like so how do you deal with like a bad day, right? Like for example, you're supposed to be this person who's got it all together. You're like taking care of everyone else, but like I'm sure you have a day where you're like, I can't wrap my head around what's happening,
it
right?
just happened like this weekend. It
Wow.
was really, really bad where I let myself cry. I let myself talk
Yeah.
about, you know what?
Yeah.
Shit, I've had a really terrible day. And I think first thing first is accepting it. It's
Yeah.
accepting that I can be at the lowest of low end, and
Yeah.
being a mental health coach, being someone from the wellness industry doesn't mean that you don't reach the low
Yeah.
depth. It
Yeah,
means
you're
that
not perfect. I mean,
no one, and
yeah,
even the most perfect person has
is
to
not.
still go there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
low to, like, you have to break to reconstruct again,
Correct.
right? So you have to go down, you have to learn, unlearn, you have, then only
Yeah,
you'll feel
unlearn
that
for sure.
happy high.
Right.
So yeah, I have a bad day,
Yeah.
but it took time, like just the way you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
it took time to accept that, can I have a bad day, can I be
Yeah, am I
broken?
allowed to have a bad day, right? Like, because I'm supposed to be a mental health coach. But
Yeah.
yeah, I always think about, like, even when I go to therapy, I always ask her, like, don't you get like bored listening to people's problems? Like, I know it's your job, but at the end of the day, what if you're having a bad day? But like, I'm
Yeah.
here just like unloading my trauma on you. So, it's like, it's
Yeah,
similar in a way.
it's actually a great way to look at it, because now when it comes to work, when
Yeah.
I'm like talking to someone who is a client and they are telling me about their bad day,
Yeah.
I I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of shut off. Everything
Right.
shuts off. Like your life shuts off, because
Everything else. Yeah.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
else shuts off, which somewhere to me maybe is also healing in a way, because
Yeah.
now I am I'm
Focusing
living
on
your
something else.
life.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now you are saying something and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
if I was Shrija and
Yeah.
she's talking about her bad day, I'm going to ask her these questions of, okay, did you tell that person that you were upset? Did you set this boundary? Were
Hmm.
you able to say yes? Were you able to say no? And the questions that I ask
Are
are either
also,
filling the gap or
yeah.
giving you a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Because now I'm becoming you, I'm living your
Correct.
life.
Correct.
So, yeah, where you can, while I'm saying that, I can understand it can be taxing for the other
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
but it's also like once you're away, I'm not you anymore. I've
Hmm.
learned to detach.
Yeah.
That comes with skill, that comes with
Yeah.
practice.
And I'm sure that takes a
Yeah,
lot of time to like
yeah.
disconnect and then go back,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that comes with all the other holistic skills that we
Yeah.
practice with, like, meditating and like
Hmm.
journaling and
So important.
mental health walks, bro. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
I know you're big on that.
Yeah.
For me in Bombay, it's like where am I gonna walk? But yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Like I know it's very therapeutic and
Yeah.
we all need it every like once in
You
a
have
while.
to, you have
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
So, like, these are the things that have gotten me to this point where I have the tools in my box now
yeah,
to recover. But
yeah,
yes, you're going to have a bad day.
yeah,
And that actually gets me to one of my biggest questions with you is that every time when we were younger, especially you've been in the Middle East for a while, I've been in Dubai and Middle
yeah,
East for a while. Um, when we were younger, we used to see a lot of people, especially here in the Gulf, that they used to just
yeah.
shop and travel. These
What
are the
else do
big,
you do in the Middle East?
yeah.
I mean, you go to a mall. That's like, I mean, at least back in the day,
When
even
we were
now,
younger,
yeah. But even today, like
yeah,
if people come to Dubai, your core part of your trip is, hey, I'm gonna go shop and then eat a little bit. So yeah, I understand. Like I've been there. When I would go to Bahrain on holidays, I would shop, and everyone there would be like, "Why are you only in the mall?" I said, "But where do I go? Like, what do I do? The weather is it's
yeah,
hot and
yeah.
but yeah,
So that's the thing, you're constantly shopping, you're
yeah,
constantly in the mall, and you have so much access to
to
like,
everything. Yeah,
yeah, to like the lower brands, to the higher brands, to the
yeah,
high end brands. And
yeah.
of course, the number here doesn't feel very threatening as well.
Hmm.
You know, when you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
like
yeah.
5,000,
It's like
yeah,
nothing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unless you sit and convert everything, then it's a problem.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
when the numbers are not as threatening,
yeah,
the the access is so much, people end up shopping a lot and it feels great to
yeah,
buy new clothes.
yeah.
Like sometimes just wearing like a fresh pair of new clothes.
Oh my God, best feeling, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I completely agree with that in the sense that you can, like, if you're having a dull day, and this is very cliched, like, oh, just go shopping and go to the parlor and go to the spa. But it does do something. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just like it uplifts your mood. So, depending on how bad your day has been, I'm not saying this is like the solution to a bad day. Like sometimes, like you always say, you have to sit and feel it and go with it and feel that feeling that you're going through. But I think for some people, even if it's escapism for a bit, it could be like these kind of things, like, okay, I want to just look good today and not think about the problem I'm going through. So what do? I wear something new. I mean, I go shop and then I dress up, look good, and get out with my girlfriends or whatever, like do anything. But that does make you feel, it's like boosting your confidence, I would say. And of course it's all like temporary, because you're going to have to come back home and still sit with what you're going through. But if those little, like, what do you call it, like bursts of joy come through with it, then I think why not? Like, obviously doesn't mean like just keep splurging all the time, you're upset. But it works for a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of girls where they're like, I'm just gonna go do my nails because I've had a like horrible day. And I get
Absolutely.
it, like it's fine, do whatever comes to you and whatever makes you feel better.
I agree. I feel like you have to go and do your nails. You go get that
Yeah.
haircut, go get that
Yeah, haircuts.
body.
Oh my God, haircuts feel so
Feel like a
good.
new person.
Yeah.
Go get that haircut.
Everyone I know has had a post like breakup haircut, which makes them feel like
Yeah,
I'm ready again, like I'm all
yeah.
um
It's not only post breakup. I know I did it like after my dog passed away. Like, remember when I went like
oh
super
yeah,
short?
super short. Yeah.
I also didn't realize I did it around the same time. It
It just
struck me
happened.
after 3 months
Hmm.
that, oh shit, this is what I did. But what I'm saying is that we actually do these things and it feels great in the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Now the problem comes where it starts to become like, this is what I should do. This is what I'm
Yeah.
going to be dependent on.
On.
Then
Yeah.
this is this some a form of addiction, right?
Hmm.
That comes
Hmm.
down
Hmm.
because see, workaholism is a thing, being a shopaholic is
Yeah.
a thing,
Yeah.
and it all comes down to it makes me feel good, so I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Where
Without
yes,
any end to it, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, so where it's great, feel good
Right.
about it, but
Yeah.
aren't we supposed to do everything together, right?
Yeah, like a more holistic approach, you mean, right? Like
Yeah,
where there's a bit of. So I agree. Like, I think that's why I said, like, these could be like just temporary bursts of feeling better.
yeah.
It can't be like I'm sure there are people out there who only do this to feel better, where it's like, if you have the spending capacity and power, yeah, maybe it comes to you naturally. But I think that's a very small piece of feeling better mentally. And if you're going through something inside, and you have to like kind of sit with that, and that's when it can get really, how do I say this, like addictive, like you said. But then you only go back to that one solution point, and that's not healthy,
Yeah,
right?
that
Like,
that can be toxic.
yeah, like, okay, if you're going to therapy and you're taking care of yourself, you're doing everything else, like we work out. I feel great after a workout sometimes, but there are days where it takes so much like courage to get out of bed and just like travel and go and reach the gym. And then I'm like, okay, now this was fine. But I can imagine it could be really tough for someone to do that. But whereas shopping, like today, you have everything on your phone. It's like delivered to your house the next day. That is so easy compared to getting up and facing your problem. Because you can just be in bed and you're chilling and you're like scrolling and you have what you need the next day at your doorstep, right? And that's
Yeah.
convenience, which is ruining all of us also, I think, in a way, which is, it's like 8 minutes delivery sometimes, and it's ridiculous because then you don't really value anything, I feel, right? Like we don't go to the malls in Bombay because it's like, oh my god, who's going to sit in traffic and reach the mall when you can just sit at home and order it. But like, whereas in Dubai it's different because this is what it is. So you go out, you get that ice cream, you get your dessert in, and you get your calories in, and then you go shop and you come home. And sometimes I feel shit after that because I'm like, what did I just do? Like, I just wasted 2 hours. I bought stuff I clearly did not need, and it's just like adding more space in my making less room for space in my wardrobe, and I've just eaten crap.
Yeah.
But then, it's in that moment where you feel like this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
Like how
I
you went
think
for a
so.
haircut. It just felt right. But not every time is it probably the right decision. But and you
Yeah, so
can't
not
really,
nor is this right, nor is
yeah,
that
there's no
right.
like right and wrong, but I guess like you said, it's about like, if it can't only be one particular pattern that you keep repeating. That's when
Yes.
it's like toxic for
Yeah.
sure, and I do think shopping is it's dangerous because like, if you know how to like edit your wardrobe right, where you know exactly what you need and you have that, you don't need to keep shopping. But for some people it's like they're very passionate about it. So like, I work with a lot of people who just love buying stuff, and I guess it also comes from like, some people are collectors, so for them it comes from that angle. Like for me, I've reached a point where I just want to have neutrals and things that I can mix and match, because I don't have the bandwidth in me to keep buying everything every 2 months. It's just not who I am. But I was that. So I don't like disrespect someone who's in that phase where they're like, I want this and I want that and I want every trending sneaker that's out there in the market. But it's a very individual sort of decision where you do what comes to you, like naturally.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I feel like it's very important to be able to style something a couple of ways. I feel like I've still not reached there. It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Like with a shirt, because we've already established that I wear a
Yeah.
lot of shirts. So with a shirt, it's like I wear it long or I wear it short.
Yeah, but
You
there's
know?
so much you can do with a shirt. Like I keep telling you that, like a shirt, I think like having a shirt, if it's any color, there are like, you can style it in 10 different ways and like keep repeating that for years and years. Like I have some shirts with me that are probably about 5 years ago. It's still there and it's still like my go-to when I have nothing else to wear. Or the same
Yeah.
with like blacks. Like if you like, I'm always in black, so it's easy to like repeat and rewear and reuse and you add your quirks here and there, which
Yeah.
are like your, yeah,
Accessories and
yeah.
stuff
Like
like that.
whatever, like for me, for example, it could be like rings, but for you, I know it's like colorful
Yeah.
earrings.
Rings,
And
yeah.
that I feel like is an individual style that you have, which it probably wouldn't come to me naturally, right?
Yeah. That's so
So,
true.
yeah,
But see, that's the thing, right? It's so important to know how to dress,
yeah,
and like you said, edit your wardrobe in such a way
yeah,
to be able to use the same thing like 5 times in 5 different ways.
yeah.
Is that called sustainable fashion as
Yeah,
well?
it is. It is because in the sense, you're not really just buying everything that's out there and as and when it's out in the market. It's about investing in good pieces that you know will last you. Now that can mean spending on a really good brand, so you spend a little more so that you know the quality is going to be maintained for like a couple of years, or you go to a fast fashion brand, which again is like, it's such a debate because sometimes you shouldn't be buying that, but it's so easy. All your like your Zara's and your H&M's are ideally all fast fashion brands, but why do we always go to it? Because it's just convenience. It's right there. It's going to get delivered in like a day or two. You can return, you can refund, and you can do all of that, and they have every trending style that's out there. But I still think that finding the balance between, because I know it's very easy to say, hey, you can't like shop from Zara from tomorrow, when if that's something you've been doing forever,
Yeah.
or like an H&M for that matter. But I also think being sustainable with your fashion decisions it's effort, because you have to really be looking for what's out there, and there's not that much out there, in the sense that if you want something that's trendy and like that's cool but it's also like sustainable, it's tricky. Like, it's everything's out there in the market, but it's a lot of effort, like sit and find it. And if you're someone who's not very inclined to like spending that much time on how you look, you're going to be like, I'm not doing this, I'm just going to buy what's there, like I can't break my head over this,
That's true.
you know.
Fast fashion is for people who are like
Yeah, like
lazier.
exactly. And it's terrible for sure. Like, as a stylist as well, I try and like refrain as much as I can to not source from these brands. But like sometimes when you just need that one thing where you don't find it easily, you just run into a Zara and you get it.
Yeah.
But of course, like I try and like I sometimes have to control myself from not shopping from fast fashion brands, because we've all done that growing up. And, to like completely cut that out and only look for like fabrics that are, and also sustainable fashion is not like it is expensive. So I understand why it doesn't come easily to a lot of people, because you can't just like bulk shop and you're sorted for like the next 3-4 months. It's expensive because you're paying for that fabric, which will last you longer. But yeah, it is a way of sustainable fashion, which is you have like your key pieces in your wardrobe,
Yeah.
and then you kind of like mix and match you depending on what you wear.
So even with this, like it's expensive, like we mentioned. It's
Yeah.
or it's definitely more expensive than like a
Then your
Zara.
fast fashion
Yeah.
brands, yeah.
So if it's a little bit more expensive and it becomes a little bit more neutral because it's
Yeah.
easy to style,
Yeah.
is that what we also call quiet fashion, quiet luxury? Quiet luxury.
Slow luxury, quiet luxury, yeah. In the sense, so that would apply to more like high end brands, I would say, where like if you're investing in a bag, you buy something that will last you a couple of years at least. But with like clothes, for example, it's just a human tendency to get done with something way easier than a bag, for example. Like a bag will last, like it'll stay with you for like I would say at least 5 years or 6 years. But like if you buy a shirt, say from a not so expensive high end brand, you will forget about it in say 2 years or 3 years, because you'll be like, I want to buy something else. So I think it depends. So it again comes down to who you are and like how you dress and what your spending power is and how important it is to you, like what you wear and what are the brands you stand by. These are things we talk about a lot in the fashion world, but it comes down to a lot of other things. It's not as simple as, hey, like from tomorrow I'm going to be
I'm
a
going to be
person.
sustainable.
Yeah, like, and that's not just to like fashion, but I even think like stuff within your home, like your lifestyle, your cutlery, and all of those things. Like, everyone would love to be sustainable, but the idea of it is like it's
Yeah.
you feel like, yeah, I want to be this person, but it's not as easy
It's
for
not
everybody.
easy.
Yeah,
It's not easy at
it's
all.
not. Yeah.
Like it literally even comes down to like the bags you carry to the grocery.
Yeah.
Do you remember to do it?
Exactly, like take a bag from home so that you don't have to take that plastic. I mean, if you remember it, great, but it's just like not at the top of your mind,
It's
right?
very hard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very hard.
yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, when we are carrying and we get nowadays paper bags, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In Bombay, we have a couple of
yeah,
brands here. In Dubai, we have a couple
yeah,
of like whatever the fast deliveries
yeah.
that give it to you all in
In
paper
a
bags,
brown
and
bag.
it feels like okay, we're still doing something, but
Yeah,
it's still paper.
it's still paper. Yeah.
There's still a tree getting cut down
So
to
the whole point is to like actually then take a cloth bag from home and then go to a supermarket and do your groceries. But like, how many
reuse.
people are actually doing that? And then, if you're buying your groceries for a month, you're not going to take like 10 of these bags and go. So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're all like, so it's always the smaller things that add to the bigger picture, but it's also not the easiest. But of course, that doesn't mean we don't try,
Yeah.
you know?
So we are in
Yeah.
this era of trying to like,
We are. And
yeah.
it's firstly like a hustle era, and then you also have to be very mindful of like everything. And
But I think the hustle era also kind of helps us do that because you're just like, I don't want to spend money again and again. So I'd rather buy one big good
and
thing
get done with it.
and get
Yeah,
done
like
with
that's my current
Motto?
phase is that like where I just don't want to spend time on apps. Like
Yeah.
like I feel like Instagram in itself takes so much out of me that if I'm gonna spend like those 3-4 extra hours on shopping apps, it's done. Like there'll be nothing to my life then. So I just look at it as, okay, if I want to like sit on the weekend and just look at what people are doing in terms of clothes and jewelry, I'll do that as a part of my homework for work, because I also then unfortunately or fortunately have to always be on the lookout for like what's trending. But
Yeah.
that also kind of then makes me want to like get those things, and then that's a trap.
It's, yeah, it's such a loop,
Yeah,
man.
it is. It's
So-
taken me a lot to like come to a point where I don't need any of this. Like, I can, like, until I really need it, I'll try and like stray away from it.
It's a great question to ask yourself, do I really need it? And I used to do that when I was
Yeah.
growing up, because also I didn't have money. It came from a place where I was broke. But I used to go to a
Yeah.
store, like something, walk out and be like, if I really feel like I need it tomorrow, I will
Yeah.
walk back in and buy
Buy
it.
it.
And I'll take that extra effort. And if I've forgotten about it tomorrow,
That means you never needed it
I
in the
never
first
wanted
place.
it.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure there are so many things you buy, and do you actually wear, like, things you've never touched? You must have bought it thinking, wow, I love this piece of like artwork or like this earring or whatever. But I've had so many such things, and I would feel depressed looking at the number of things I have to give away, because I was like, why did I buy this in the first place? Or maybe things I've worn like once.
Yeah, what
It's
is that? People have this trend of, oh my god, I only wear clothes once. What?
I don't relate. Like, I don't understand that, because
Like, why do you not want to repeat your clothes? What do you think? Who are you?
I mean, but then see, that's the thing. Like, there are people who can spend to a point where you don't really have to repeat your clothes. Now, that comes to a lot of people who are also in front of the camera, like, have a lot of pressure to, like, oh, you can't repeat.
But remember that
today,
Alia Bhatt thing that happened?
where she repeated
her
her
wedding.
wedding sari for the national award. Yeah. And which is very normal. Like, it's a normal thing to do. But of course, it's like if you're a celebrity and you repeat something, it's like, wow, it's celebrated. But it's a very normal human thing to do, where I can wear something on my wedding day and repeat it in like, and ideally that should be the way to do it, because you're spending so much money on like a bridal outfit or whatever, right?
Yeah, I like when everybody was like, oh wow, Alia has done this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is this special?
Yeah.
I guess it was like, oh, it was her wedding sari, and then she wore it also for a very special day where she won the national award. But again, I mean, when I have brides who come to me for styling, that's the first thing I tell them, that, hey, like, if whatever you're spending, do you want to buy something that you can repeat and rewear? And today, most of the brides I work with are all like, yeah, listen, we don't want to spend like a fortune on outfits, because we don't want it to just be hanging in our wardrobes, and we want to wear it. If not wear it, make something out of it and then wear that. Because it's like, it's
hard-earned
crazy to think-
money.
exactly. And it's crazy to think that that's just worn for like those 3 hours and that's it. Like, if I'm like an outfit, I am definitely repeating that like a million times,
Same.
And that should be how it is. I don't understand the whole I don't repeat outfits. Like, I don't get that.
I don't get it either. And I'm just like, I feel like it's such a superiority complex that comes
Yeah.
in at that point. Of course, with some people, as you said, there is purchasing power.
Yeah, and
But
if
with
you
some
can do
people,
that,
there isn't.
it
That's
isn't. Yeah, but then those are the people who are also falling into
the
this
fast
like, Yeah,
fashion.
yeah, which is bad.
It's really, it just gives like
Yeah.
a I'm better than you vibe, or I'm
Yeah.
trying to be better. That's
Trying,
even
yeah,
worse.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what gets me really, like, I can already see like how sad they are.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just
But
wear
they're
the
trying to
same.
portray this image of like, no, I don't.
So when
need
I
to,
go
like,
for holidays, I still repeat my clothes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I overpack, but I'll
Yeah.
still repeat my clothes
Yeah, like you'll
also.
probably take 10 things and wear the same 2 things. That's what
Yeah.
I do all the time.
Yeah.
And that's how you realize, like, okay, I'm not this, like, I don't need, so much, like, because eventually you kind of like keep repeating the same old stuff.
I
which
love
I
that.
think is also cool, because it's all about how you reinvent those 1-2 pieces.
And that's what you are. That's your
Yeah.
identity,
Yeah.
right?
So much pressure to like be, firstly, if you're not being yourself, itself is like pressure on your shoulders, and then you have to dress like someone you're not, and then just because in the world out there that's trendy, like, for example, so you're not being yourself, you're trying to also dress like someone you're not, and then you go out and then you meet people when there are like 2 layers of you which is not you. And I've done that, like, I've also been that, so I know exactly how taxing that is, because it's all trying, to like put
There's
this
so much
image out
pain.
there. Yeah, and it's like, I think everyone can do it in their 20s, where like other things don't matter as much and aren't on your mind, but in your 30s you're just like, I don't
Fuck it,
have
yeah.
the time. Like, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be someone and try to impress someone. Like, whether it's even if you're going for like a work meeting or a pitch meet or whatever, you go like yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where people will actually see the real you, instead of like trying to be someone else, and and just doing things that come to you naturally itself. I think if people can do that, it's a big win. Because today everyone is just like caught up in this rut of,
What's trending?
yeah,
What looks good?
like even workouts. I think like working, like, to show that your workout is a cool thing to do. And I never get that as well. Like, why do you have to no offense, but I feel like sometimes people also do it because it's a cool thing to do, right? Like, oh, I take care
It's
of
acceptable.
myself. Yeah, I take care of myself, and that's a cool thing. So I need to show the world. But it's different when it's actually making you feel good, and then you want to share it versus just doing it for the sake of,
For the gram.
yeah, for the
But that's
gram.
what you described, no? The two layers that you wear already when you're going out. It's the I'm wearing something that's not me, then I'm going
Yeah,
and being someone that's not me in a place
crazy.
that's not me.
Yeah.
That's what we call baggage.
Yeah, it is. It's
These are the
literally
filters
that.
that you're
When you
going out
come
with.
home and you take your clothes off, and let's not forget like makeup. Like I feel beauty plays such a big part in in all our lives. Like for example, like everything is thrown at our faces. You need this concealer, you need this foundation. And I've also been that person. Like when I walk into a Sephora, I'm lost for 5 hours. And I've come out with 8 things I don't need. Okay. I never needed it. I probably have it, but it's just like another version or a new product. And then, a year later, when I'm like decluttering my wardrobe, I see that I've never even touched that lipstick or like that primer, because I'm a 3 step makeup person. Like I wear my concealer and my sunscreen or whatever, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But in your head, it's like, no, but you should also be doing these 7, 8 other things because that's what you've been told and you're seeing and you're hearing.
Marketing, bro. It's all
It's
marketing.
horrible.
It's
So
all.
all like my friends who are on Instagram, but they follow like 5 pages and they're just there for reels and fun, they have no such problems because they're not like nothing's being thrown at them where, and it also comes from like in your line of work, it could be a lot to do with like wellness stuff that's like thrown at you. For
Yeah.
me, it's like a lot of fashion and beauty, which I hate in the sense like I don't need this, don't show me. I don't want to see it.
If I need it, it'll come to me.
Naturally.
I
Yeah.
want to find the solution to a problem when it's actually a problem. I don't want to just have
Make
a
a
solution and
exactly
then I have to create a problem
problem
around
for
it.
it. That's all of us today, though. In
That's the
this bit,
Instagram world.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is terrible. So it's kind of like you have to be on it because it's work for all of us today.
Yeah.
But then how do you get out of it and like go into like the real world where you're like, I can be myself?
This is how we're doing it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
But
yeah,
okay, so one of the last things that I do want to talk about is when you said that, you don't need to fall into these trends and you need to have that personal style. It doesn't matter what you're wearing and, you can still repeat that outfit.
yeah,
I know that you worked with Veer Das and this is
yeah.
something that happened there as well. Do you want to?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because I was just thinking about it like
Yeah.
yesterday where so I styled him for the Emmys and we had a whole look set up where, he wanted to work with a new designer and give like a new fresh designer an opportunity to dress him at such a big event, which I think was phenomenal. And we had everything set up and, we're in New York, we're getting him ready like an hour before the event and stuff. And everything was great. And now we come to the last part of his outfit, which is his footwear, and we had decided that we're going to go with like black shoes. There were these particular shoes that he was going to wear, and he suddenly felt like this is not me. And it's a very common thing where stylists will get you stuff, and sometimes the artist or the talent or your client may or may not want to wear it, but they trust you because you know everything and you know this better. So I'll wear what you ask me to wear, but maybe it's not entirely them. So something very similar happened where Veer was like, listen, I'm just going to go and wear my own sneakers today. And I was like, no, you can't. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's not what we had planned. And it's not going to go with the look. And, we had decided black. And he was just not feeling himself. And he was like, you know what? This is who I am. Like, I'm a sneaker person and I'm someone who wears my chunky sneakers with almost everything. And I kept telling him that, yeah, but Veer, this is the Emmys. And, this is like a look we've decided. And he just followed his gut, which I thought was so cool. But I was obviously dying on the inside because the stylist in me was like, how can he and how could he? And like, how could I let this happen? Because like, we're also in a way somewhere following a trend, right? Like in my head, I'm like, it's a black suit, it's a white shirt. I would give anyone a black pair of shoes, but he went with like white chunky sneakers, which are his own rundown sneakers. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna like not work. I thought of everything, like the overthinker in me. And I was really bummed out about that bit for like 2 hours after the Emmys. And then I saw the images and I was like, you know what? He just like owned it. In the sense, yeah, I'm sure like some people felt like, oh, that was the worst pick. But I think that's where I also had to like kind of unlearn a few things and let go of couple of things where it's like it's okay, you know. I know it's a pair of shoe, I know it's a big event, and it's a memorable one, and it's something that people are going to remember. But sometimes it's fine to like
It's fine.
let it be. And it was a big one because I was like, this was like something we were working on for months, and then in the last minute when there's like a change to something you've already kind of had in your head, it can take a while to sit down with you, right, and feel like it's fine, it's okay. So it all comes back to like peer pressure, because like you're a stylist, how can you let someone do something that was not planned? But I think Veer, being the person he is like, I'm just going to do what comes to me naturally, without any offense to like me or the team. But he understood that it's important for him to feel like himself on that stage, because it's also like, more than anything, it's his big day,
Yeah.
and it's a pair of shoes at the end of the day that I'm crying about. But like eventually, like in the bigger picture, it really doesn't matter. What matters is like how he's feeling, and if he felt uncomfortable in the pair of shoes I gave him, I would feel terrible, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, coming back to, sometimes it's okay to like not care so much about certain things and like little things in your look, because we anyway live in a world where everything is like a bigger deal than it should be.
And
then if
everything is that
you're
herd mentality.
yeah, and then if you're gonna cry about, oh, this earring or those pair of shoes, and this is like to stylists, because I feel we're in too much pressure in general.
Yeah.
So sometimes you should just like let go, and that's not just to stylists, I would say, but like humans.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's fine. Like some things are
I really enjoyed the story because it teaches you so much. It teaches you to
yeah,
a point where this is what you plan. It doesn't have to go that
yeah,
way. You're able to take your own decision.
yeah, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You
Yeah.
just feel yourself. This is
Like
what.
I had my session of where I cried and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. And then I reached a point where I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's not looking as bad. And then I reached a point where I'm like, okay, no,
It's
this is what
looking
we
cool.
wanted.
Yeah.
So it was like phases of like unlearning and like letting go. And then I was like, okay, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. Because sometimes you just make it up in your head,
Yeah.
and the problem doesn't even exist. It's just you know. So that's when I realized that okay, I should just chill. Like it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is how he stood out.
Yeah, he
And
owned it. Like I was like, okay, you know what, you win. I was like, it's fine. Like your white sneakers worked, and
yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
actually did work. I remember
Yeah.
seeing the picture.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, if it doesn't work, then you must be like,
I would have hated myself to like give him something that like
Yeah.
wasn't him, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it's
It's
him
hard.
first here.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. No, but I love this story because of that. And also, like,
Yeah.
Veer is that kind of a person, right? The fact that he actually even gave like a new designer a chance.
Oh god, yeah, that
that
was
was-
that also came to me as a first. I was like, the stylist in me was like, wait, what? Are we not going to wear like a really cool brand that's already out there and established? Because you kind of trust them to do a great job for something like the Emmys. But he again was like, no, I want to give a kid an opportunity. And I felt like that's actually incredible, because you don't see too many people do that, like whether it's celebrities or not, where you're actually giving someone a platform via your like via this opportunity that he's got, and which is meant for him to shine, but he's still thinking about like
It's a trickle down
how can
effect.
yeah, exactly. And I thought that was great, you know, because like that was a very how do I say, like an enriching experience for me, because I also got to like do something that's very different.
And how many people had applied
Over like 6,000-7,000 people, and then we had to
in
like
India?
in India, actually, yeah, in India, right? Because we had to obviously pick someone from there, but we had to like sit over so many emails and like shortlist, because like you're also just kind of like selecting someone via an email. And I've always had this fear that what if like the final product is not what we want, and then what do we do? So you have to like also plan for backups, and because it's the Emmys, it's not like any other event where it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. But yeah, that was pretty cool what he did. And
How did
she-
you feel to be on the team?
I felt great because when I heard, like, when there was an announcement that he's doing the Emmys, I had a feeling that he's going to do something different, in the sense that probably wear something he already owns and kind of do one of those things, than be like, oh, let's do a stylized look head to toe. And obviously, when his team spoke with me, I was like, we have to nail this. Like, whether it's a designer, whether it's something he already owns, or we make something, it has to be like a moment that is remembered. And it was a lot of work, because like we had to figure out how to like not make him look like any other guy in a black and white suit, like, or a tux. Like, he had told me the first thing, I'm not wearing a tux, so that was established. But like, how do we make him look like himself on this big stage, and such a proud moment like for India and him and all of that? So yeah, a lot of work went in it, but it was like the most satisfying experience because like when that day got done and like everything was done, pictures were out, I was like I had this like sense of relief, like
Yeah.
okay, it's over, it's done, I did it, like it's finished, you know. And he's just easy to work with, and I think that makes everything better. Where like I remember I was like so anxious around the fitting time, and he was like, relax, like it's okay, it's just the Emmys. I was like, no, it is the Emmys. Like, so that's when I realized that when you work with someone who kind of like calms you down, like your energy is not all over the place, it makes a huge, huge difference. And he's one of those guys where he's like, this is, look, it's just an outfit, like just relax. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's an outfit, because for me in my head it's like,
But
where
that's your
do
job.
exactly. But that's where I'm also understanding that it's okay to like have one or two bad days here and there, like it's not the end of the world for sure. And as long as like your client is happy, nothing else should really matter, you know. This
Yeah.
whole again trend trap is crazy, like because you want to just do, like you want to perfect everything, which is a great thing to do,
But you
but
can't.
yeah, you can't, and it's okay. Like I've accepted that. I'm like, it's fine, it's okay, you
So
know.
perfection doesn't exist. You
Yeah,
can't make everything perfect.
yeah.
In fact, what has already happened is the most perfect that
Perfect
it
thing.
could be.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I thought about that white sneaker. I was like, you know what? This was meant to be. There's a
And this was
reason.
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. There was a reason for that to happen. And yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I actually have always enjoyed this story, but I just found out more about it in depth in
Yeah.
this
Yeah. It was
conversation.
crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you've also had like really difficult moments. Like
Yeah.
Veer is one of the fun ones, but I'm sure
Yeah.
you've had like a few difficult clients and
Clients.
moments
Yeah,
as
of
well.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. Where, you know, you doubt everything about yourself and your talent and all of that. And it happens. But then you know, you kind of like edit who you want to work with and not. Like who's the person where
But do you have self doubt then?
oh, yeah, all the time. I feel like this job and this industry is also like that because again, it all comes down to you see so much. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you know people who have desk jobs or like engineers or whatever, doctors even. There's no like this pressure because our work is all imagery, right? So
Hmm.
everything is about how an image looks, and that again means you have to be like on social media, and so you're constantly seeing stuff. So you're always like, oh wow, this looks great, can I ever do that? So there's a constant self a sense of like doubt anyway, and
Yeah.
then over and above that, when your client can come in the way and add to that, it doesn't help. So I choose to work with people who are good for my mental health also, because at the end of the day, if that's not in place, this job is not for people.
This is not worth it.
Yeah, it's not like you cannot, like it's not for the faint hearted for sure. You know, you have to be, and I've had days where you know, I've like I don't know how I've reached the shoot day where I've like probably cried my eyes out the night before, whether it's like work stress or any other kind of stress. But you just show up, and then actually, like you keep saying, you have to like sit with the feeling. There was no time to sit, but because you have to go and show up and kill it at work, and then come back and sit back with your feeling.
Yeah.
But it's tough, you know, to
Yeah.
and you're like, it's a job where you have to be your, like you have to be present physically, you have to like give it your 100%. You can't get your work like your personal problems into work, and
Hmm.
it's tough. So it's also like a job that is very dependent on other people, you know, your team and like client, and everyone else comes first, you come last.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a lot to handle if you have, or if you're going through like a time in your life where things are not very great.
Hmm.
Because I feel it's like too much stress. This is a very stressful job. Like styling is not easy,
Yeah.
but it's of
High
course
pressure.
very high pressure. I'm not saying other jobs aren't, but
Hmm.
this has a very like it has its own kind of stress, which is very different. Like, you know, you're like constantly multitasking and juggling, and you know, there have been times where I'll go to like therapy and then come out, and like in the next minute outside my therapy class, I'm a session, I got a call and I'm getting on a client call. So you know, there's no time to like really sit with what just happened in therapy, or just like
Decompress.
jumping into the
Yeah.
next thing. So that's it's just
It's.
how it is. But I guess with time, you know, you realize what's worth
Hmm.
spending time on, whether it's
Yeah.
work or not. Like there are some projects I say no to because I'm like, I'm not.
This is my biggest motto is just that for better mental health,
Yeah,
if you're getting a job that pays 140,
yeah,
you rather take a job that pays 100, because with that 40 you're actually
yeah,
buying peace of mind. You're when
exactly.
you say no, I'm editing clients, it
Yeah,
comes from that.
that,
You're
yeah.
editing it because you want better mental health, you want peace of
Yeah,
mind.
and with age, like you don't have the bandwidth, I feel, to deal with a lot of stuff, right?
And
So,
it's like when you're younger, it's like I have to prove, I have to hustle, I have to,
yeah,
you have to put
you do
hurdles in, you
everything.
have to put hurdles in front of you
Yeah,
to say that I overcame it.
Yeah.
In your 30s, you're like, dude, I don't want the hurdles.
I'm better off without it. Yeah, because in your 20s, we've all done that. You've done it, I've done it, where we've taken every opportunity to prove a point like I can be this person, and then you realize that okay, now like it's done, and
You don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, like you do like quality work over quantity for sure, and then just focus on other parts of your life because
That's the only way.
yeah,
That's
because how else are you going to grow, right? Like that's why I get a little like saturated with fashion because it's anyway like in general people talk about it a lot, friends and conversations, and then it's like also your work, and then it's also what you do, and then it's like okay, I need time for no like other things in life, which is probably just going out and like doing other things like getting the sun or like getting a meal, and where conversation is not around work, and that all comes again from like hustle culture where you're only talking about what am I doing next. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to talk about what I'm doing next. Can we just talk about something else?
Yeah,
It
just like
gets
let it be
tricky.
fun.
Let it be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why also comedy is picking up a lot nowadays.
Yeah, so
Such a
important.
relief.
Yeah, such a relief from all the other stuff that's out there.
Yeah. Obviously, we didn't like our podcast didn't go into the comedy bit. It was a little bit more deep and serious.
Yeah. But it had like a mix of everything, right?
Yeah.
Which I was talking to you like styling and mental, like it's all related.
Yeah.
Eventually, like it's all intertwined, right?
Everything is intertwined.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I have always said there's no guest that can't be on a mental health podcast. There's nothing off the table.
Actually, that's so true.
Yeah. But on that note, we will say goodbye to Shrija and hopefully get you back soon. But yeah, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you liked it, and if you think that this made sense, please comment. Please, can you tell them where to follow you?
Yeah, my handle is Shrija Rajgopal.
Okay, so please like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.